Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and it's called Fancy English with Sidney Sheldon. So based on the name, you guys can guess that I'm a really big fan of Sidney Sheldon author. And I must say that his books are like my all-time favorite, and I read many of his books, and they helped me improve my English a lot because he used all of these very fancy words and amazing English expression that I think would be very helpful for anyone's speaking or writing skill. And when I was learning English a few years ago, I would read his books and be very impressed with certain extracts from his story, and also from that extract I picked out my favorite vocabulary and expression and tried to incorporate that into my own speaking and writing. So I thought that I should help you guys do that as well because it would definitely improve your English competency a lot. So let's start off with my approach in this kind of like learning style. So I basically choose one book, and our book for today is called If Tomorrow Comes. It is a very like thrilling and exciting book. It has a very like appealing plot, and I would show you guys why. So basically, uh, the content of the story is about a lovely, idealistic character named Tracy Whitney. She is unfortunately framed into a 15-year sentence in an escape proof penitentiary. With dazzling ingenuity, she fights back to destroy the untouchable crime lords that put her there. With her intelligence and beauty as her only weapons, Tracy embarks on a series of extraordinary escapades that sweep her all across the globe. In an explosive confrontation, Tracy meets her equal in Irresistible, Jeff Stephen, whose past is as colorful as Tracy. So that is like the main content of the story. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take you through a small extract from the book, and this extract it belongs to the stage where Tracy was put into prison and how she felt while being locked in there. So let me read to you that extract. Time lost all meaning. There was never light in the cell, so there was no difference between night and day, and she had no idea how long she was kept in solitary confinement. From time to time, cold meals were shoved through a slot in the bottom of the door. Tracy had no appetite, but she forced herself to eat every morsel. You gotta eat, or you won't last here. She understood that now. She knew she would need every bit of her strength for what she planned to do. She was in a situation that anyone else would consider hopeless. She was locked away for 15 years, with no money, no friends, no resources of any kind. But there was a wellspring of strength deep within her. I will survive, Tracy thought. I face my enemies naked, and my courage is my shield. She would survive as her ancestor has survived. In her was the mixed blood of the English and the Irish and the Scots, and she had inherited the best of their qualities: the intelligence, the courage, and the will. My ancestor survived famine and plagues and flood, and I'm going to survive this. They were with her now, in her Stygian cell, the shepherds and trappers, the farmers and shopkeepers, the doctors and teachers, the ghost of the past, and everyone was a part of her. I won't let you down, Tracy whispered into the darkness. So this is a very impactful and memorable extract that I have ever read from this story. So let me start analyzing it for you guys. So the first ever sentence that I've read was, time lost all meaning. So this is a very figurative expression that I find, incredibly good. You can try to use it in speaking or even in writing. And what it means is that the understanding of time is lost. So basically, in this context, because Tracy was in solitary confinement, she was locked in a dark cell. She couldn't really know what was going on outside, and she didn't even know whether it was day or night. So she lost all concept of time. So that's what it means. Time lost all meaning. And another word that I have noted down for you guys is the word cell. So cell means a room for one or more prisoners in a prison or a police station. An example will appear up here. He spent a night in prison cell. The third word is confinement. So confinement means that it is the state of being forced to stay in a closed space, a prison, or the act of putting somebody there. So solitary confinement, if we combine those two words together, it basically means that Tracy was not just locked in a closed space, but she was locked there all alone with no other inmates or no other prisoners. So she was put there all alone in solitude as a form of punishment. The next word is the verb shoved. So shove here means to push somebody or something in a rough way. I'll give you another example. She was shoved so hard that she fell down and grazed her knees. The next word that I find would be quite useful and a new word for some people is the word slot. So slot is a noun and it means a long, narrow opening into which you put or fit something. So I have another example. She slid a coin into the slot of the claw crane. So for those of you who didn't know, and I actually didn't know after I'd done research for this video, the claw crane is like a machine, and inside they have a lot of toys or teddy bears so that you can try to grip it up, pick it up and try to win a prize for yourself. So that's basically that machine. And when put in the context of the story, it means that the cold meal were shoved through a slot at the bottom of the door. So basically you can imagine that Tracy received her meal on a tray, and those tray were pushed through like a small a small slot at the bottom of the door. That's how she received her meal at the prison cell. And next we have the word appetite. It's quite a common word for many people, but I still decide to note it down. So appetite means a physical desire for food. I have another example for you to make things easier. Don't eat too much snacks before your dinner. You'll spoil your appetite. And in the context of the story, you would see that she has no appetite. Yes, Tracy had no appetite, but she forced herself to eat every morsel. So she didn't really want to eat at all, but she still decided to consume that food to gain strength. And so the word morsel comes up right after. So morsel here means a small amount or a piece of something, especially food. So I have a similar example. She forced herself to eat every morsel of the meal to regain her strength. Next up, let's continue. So the wellspring of strength here means that it is a supply or source of a particular quality, especially ones that never ends. So, when put into the context of the story, it implies that Tracy has this internal source of strength deep within her, a sort of mental energy that can never be drained. So, I would write another example for you guys so that you would know how to use this kind of phrase in, real life or during a conversation or during your essay. So she has an incredible internal wellspring of strength that helped her sail through all challenges. So that is an example of how I use the phrase wellspring of strength. It's a really nice phrase, so I really recommend you guys try using it. Another sentence is, I face my enemies naked, and my courage is my shield. This is a great figurative expression, and I think you guys should use it in your own writing as well. The sentence here means that the character is ready and has braced herself for battling against her enemies or conquer her fear. She is willing to step up to challenge her foe, and because she knows that she possesses a strong invisible shield of protection, which is her outstanding courage. Another word is inherit. So maybe some of you have known about this word. Inherit means to receive money, property from somebody when they die. So an example that I give you guys is, as the sole heiress of the family, she inherited a huge fortune. And these upcoming words that I will be explaining, they are just words about professions. So I would be explaining and give example on words that I find, might be important. And other words, I would just give you the definition of them. The next word with an example is plague. So plague here means any disease that spread quickly and kills a lot of people. An example that I can give is the fatal plague that swept through Europe during the 1300s was also known as the Black Death. So it's a very gruesome death. For any of you who maybe wonder, you guys can look it up. Another word is Stygian. So it means that very dark and frightening. So it is a kind of like a frightening darkness. So another example, a descriptive example that I could give to you is, the city was shrouded in the Stygian gloom. The three final words are about profession. So as you can see in the story, they talk about, my ancestor survived famine and plagues and floods, and I'm going to survive this. They were with her now in her Stygian cell, the shepherds and trappers, the farmers and shopkeepers, the doctors and teachers. So, the shepherd here means a person whose job is to take care of sheep. A trapper is a person who traps and kills animals, especially for their fur. A shopkeeper is a person who owns or manages a shop, but usually a small one. So those are all of the key words and expressions that I have noted down for you guys. And now let's just wrap up by saying that, again, this is a very impactful extract from the story, and I think that it has so much meaning. It's not only the language that is articulate and eloquent, but also how impactful the message behind this extract is. So I think that it really highlights the character strength and resilience, and also self-discovery in some way. It's always a very hard situation to find yourself locked in a dark cell with no friends or family, and feel like all alone. But somehow the character pull through. And in a figurative sense, I hope that you guys will pull through in whatever challenges that you're facing right now. So I think that's about it for our English learning session today. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I hope that you guys learn something, and I'll see you guys in the next story.